Hey there, Danielle Matthews here. I'm coming to you live from Florida. It is Monday, which means it's our book club day, and we are in the midst of reading Wisdom Untethered by Michael Singer. We've done one other Mickey Singer book during book club, and this one is proving to be just as fabulous. It is written a little bit differently, so if you're just joining us for the first time in book club, totally okay. This book is written kind of in Q&A form. So there's questions that are being asked and then his answers to it. And so literally every single week, it's a totally different topic, totally different conversation. So if you're here, you're in the right place at the right time to be hearing the message you're supposed to be hearing. Let me know if you were joining me live. If you're catching the replay, guys, also let me know because it's always fun for me to see who's enjoying these on the replay. Now, if you want to catch past ones, not future, but past ones, YouTube. It is Enlightened Minds Book Club. All of them are up in a playlist there. So we are on chapter 6 this week. It's all about desires and preferences. So he kind of starts picking at this, have you noticed, right? You walk through life and there's like this voice in our head saying how things should be, could be. Hey, Tina, good to see you. How things should be, could be. I'm glad you're back as well. Yeah, good to see you. And it's telling us what we want, what we don't want, right? This is what the little voice in our head is saying, what should happen, what shouldn't happen. These desires and preferences are very personal to us, and they feel very justified. Well, it should be this way because of blah, 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 right? Our mind will list this whole litany of things about why it could have been this way, should have been this way, ought to be this way, you deserve that XYZ thing, all right? And we, because this is so close to us, because it feels so justified, hey Charlotte, good to see you, we start to choose from these things, okay? But in truth, those things are choosing you. You're not even consciously choosing. It's like an old pattern, an old habit, an old thought process that's actually driving you through life. The more you listen to them, the more you struggle to break out of reality and to see reality for what it is, okay? And what this gets into is how do we start navigating these preferences, these desires that we have that seem natural, that seem like they ought to be there, should be there. What do we do? Okay, because sometimes these preferences are not serving us. This is what we're going to start to see. So the first question asked is, how do I deal with recurring preferences and their root cause? Like, where are these preferences rooted? How do I address them? This is the question, first question of the chapter. So he says, preferences are the surface manifestation of deeper blockages and attachments. So when you have a preference that surfaces, well, I prefer if they didn't speak to me this way. I prefer if they spoke to me in this way, right? That is the manifestation of something deeper, okay? It's hitting up on something, some attachment, some blockage from your past, all right? When a preference arises, whether for something or against something, acknowledge the preference with a sense of curiosity. So when you have this innate internal, like, whoa, reaction preference that comes forward, look at it with curiosity, like a little puppy is exploring the world, right? It's curious about everything. Start looking at yourself, exploring yourself, witnessing your preferences with that level of curiosity. He says, allow it to surface without suppressing it and without indulging it. So the idea is I shouldn't have preferences, it needs to go away. That's not the idea. And the idea isn't, well, my preferences are legitimate and they should be my way and therefore everything needs to go towards my preferences. That's not how it works either. He's saying witness them. They are coming up to reveal to you that something is down there. Okay, some attachment, some something. He says this will allow you to look past the preference itself to see its source, right? That is the effect, not the cause. We're trying to see the cause. Why is that preference there in the first place? That's what we're looking for. He says the source of your preference is that your natural energy flow is blocked somewhere. So how do you get rid of these blockages? Well, you have to see when they manifest. The preferences is a way of these blockages manifesting. All right? It's blocking energy flow. It's causing you to need something outside of yourself to compensate for the blockage internally. In essence, preferences are the attempted solution for making you okay. So if I prefer things, hey Karen, if I prefer things to be a certain way and I act in life so that, okay, I have this preference that this person talks to me in this particular manner so that I feel okay. I feel loved, I feel comforted, I feel connected when they talk to me this way. And so that's my preference, right? We are seeking something externally to make us feel okay in here. We have that preference because underlying there is some feeling of I'm not okay, I'm not lovable, I'm not enough, something like that. That's why the preference exists. And so what he's saying is, stop with the preferences, use them as a doorway to figure out what is underlying. That's the whole point. He says, when preferences arise, accept them without trying to analyze or suppress them. You don't want to push them away. You don't need to understand them entirely. Just observe the preference without acting upon it. And try to consciously relax in the face of the discomfort that they bring, right? It's not comfortable. It's okay. Withdraw a reaction from it. There's a concept in Eastern philosophy called pratyahara. It means withdrawal. It says, I'm not going to suppress you and give you attention by trying to mush you down. I'm also not going to allow you to take me over and get totally engaged and absorbed by this preference. Pratyahara says, I'm going to withdraw my attention from it and allow it to be there. That's what we're talking about. Withdraw from it. Don't get pulled into it. Don't suppress it. Withdraw from it and observe it. That's the key. He says, over time, as you practice welcoming preferences in this way, their deeper roots, which were implanted from your past, will naturally come up and dissolve. This is how you get rid of these attachments and these blockages. This is what you do. Each moment of release brings you closer to your authentic self, unburdened by external dependency. As you do this, you will realize more and more you need less and less out there to make you feel okay. You don't need the boundaries. You don't need everything to be a certain way. You don't have to control. You realize, I'm okay no matter what. You've sifted through these old attachments and belief systems, and so now you're okay no matter what. That's the whole goal, all right? That's where we're going. So, number 2, okay? Question number 2. How do I handle anger and preferences when I'm unhappy with someone else's behavior? Now, people are going to do things. Your kids are going to do things. Your spouse is going to do things. Your parents are going to do things. Hey, Karen. Stuff is going to happen, and it's going to make you angry because you have a preference of like, well, you shouldn't have done that. You know, you're talking to the kid, you shouldn't have hit at your sister, right? Like, there's a preference here, right? And anger feels justified. So what do we do? What do we do? And put a 1 in the chat if you've ever gotten angry because you had a preference that things went a different way than they went, right? I have. It happens all the time. We are human. He says, if you find yourself getting disturbed by someone's behavior, whether it's a coworker, a boss, or anyone else, you have to start by looking inside. Don't start blaming them. Realize any disturbance is because you are having a wish or desire for things to be different. It's an internal wish. It's an internal desire. It's something within you that is wanting things to be different than they are. Stop blaming them is the point. Start asking yourself, why can't I handle this? That's the question. Why can't I handle this? What is causing me to be angry? Why can't I handle it? The other person is being who they are, acting out their own patterns and conditioning, just like you are. The real question is, why is this bothering you so much? Once you see that everybody is kind of just reacting and interacting with the world from their past, right? You start to realize, well, I'm doing the same thing. And then you start to ask, like, why is this bothering me so much? How can I get free from this so I'm not bothered in the future? That's the goal. What inside of you is reacting negatively to their behavior? If you don't ask that question, you'll end up jumping from one situation to another. A new job, a new relationship. Oh, well, it was the old boss that was the issue. It was the old girlfriend that was the issue, right? And you just keep trying to change the external, not realizing you're bringing the same stuff to every single situation. He says you're always hoping the outer world will change so you can finally be okay. But the outer world won't change, and you have no control over it changing. Life is going to keep putting these things in front of you until you decide to work on what's happening inside of you. It's interesting because you literally are going to continue to draw in these energy blocks of whatever the thing is that's causing you to get ticked off, that thing that's being triggered. It's going to pull in more situations, more people, more dynamics into your life because this thing has a draw. But it's drawing things in because it wants to be exposed and released. But we misinterpret. We think, oh my God, all these people, it's like every single person I date, they're so blah, 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 blah. Like you think it's the people externally, you think it's the bosses, you think it's the family members, you think it's the friends. It's you. It's something inside of you. And until you look there, you're never going to be able to resolve it. You're going to continue actually to draw in these situations. And they get more and more and more intense until you finally look where you haven't looked before, which is inside you. That's the whole point. He says, if you want to use the situation to grow spiritually, you can start practicing letting go of the part of you that gets disturbed. This is where spiritual growth comes in, moment by moment, in every part of your life. You can use every interaction, every conversation, every disappointment as a way to grow, where you start to touch with the thing inside of you that got disappointed. That's not the real you. He says, this isn't about pretending to be okay. We're not bypassing anything. It's about genuinely working with yourself so that you don't get thrown off by the little things in life, right? You got stuck at a stoplight and now you're going to be late for a meeting. Okay, can you witness the discomfort inside of you of the, oh, I should have left earlier. Oh, this is ridiculous. Oh, this stoplight shouldn't have been put here. All the things. That driver shouldn't have gotten out of my way, blah, blah, blah. Can you see all of that and be okay? Okay, he says, if you can't handle the driver in front of you, how are you going to handle a difficult coworker? If you don't start doing this with the little things in life, you're not going to be able to handle the big things. And you're going to be taken over by this internal stuff all the time. You're not going to be free, that's for sure. He says, if you can't handle that coworker, how are you going to be able to handle your partner, your kids, your family? Every situation that disturbs you is a chance to grow, to see what's inside of you that is resisting reality. That is the truth of the matter. It is a chance to go, oh, something in me is disturbed by something out there. Out there is not the problem. Out there revealed it, but it's in you. Okay, the truth is that life is not going to stop being life just because you want it to be different. The real work is inside. Many of us spend a lifetime trying to change the external world, to become better, to be able to have more control, more power, more whatever it is, to try and get the world to basically come under your domain and bend to your will. And the truth is it never will. Things are going to happen that are so far outside of your control. He says, does this mean that you should stay in a job or a relationship that isn't for you? He says, no, not necessarily. The thing is, before you make a decision to leave, you need to see what's happening inside of you. If you just leave because you can't handle the situation, life is going to bring the same lesson back around, all right, in another form, through another situation, another person, another experience, another job, another relationship. That's what's going to happen. So instead of running from it and going to the next relationship, the next relationship, the next job, instead of trying to find the external solution where someone finally won't disturb you, okay, he says, instead of running, start working with yourself. Let go of the need for things to be a certain way for you to be okay. When they stop doing this thing, when this person stops drinking, when my daughter stops, their addictive behavior, when whatever external thing changes, right? Look at that and say, no, that stopping does not need to dictate my being okay or not. You can dictate your being okay or not. See what within you is having such difficulty with that situation. Let go of the need for things to be a certain way for you to be okay. If you want true strength, practice facing the little things now. I would say it's the 1 pound weights, it's 2 pound weights, it's 5 pounds, it's 10 pounds, it's 20 pounds, and then you're going to be able to handle the 100 pound weight of your relationship, of your family, of your coworker, of your, the big things in life, your health leaving you, right? Ultimately, the question is, do you want to grow? If you don't want to grow, then you shouldn't be here listening to this, right? This is not for you. You're not ready yet. You just want to keep being the victim and keep blaming and keep pointing people and it's the system, it's the society, it's the culture, it's, my boss, it's my parents, it's my schooling, sure. You can keep playing that game, but you're never going to be free. You're going to be constantly in a cycle of suffering. This is the way out. And the way out is looking literally in the mirror and going deep within yourself. That's the way out. The way out is through your internal stuff. Yes, Tina says, I agree. All right. If you always insist that life must conform to your preferences, you will spend your whole life struggling. You just will. Point of fact. If you're willing to use every disturbance as a way to release what's holding you back, then you will find real freedom. The highest spiritual masters don't avoid life. It's not like you need to go to a monastery and meditate all day. No. They embrace life fully because they are no longer resisting it. If you want to handle difficult situations, start by letting go of the part of you that can't handle them. That's the real work. And if you do, you will see that all life can be used for your awakening. Moment by moment, person by person, conversation by conversation, situation by situation, you literally can go, yes, exactly, Karen. What we resist persists. If you keep resisting the way reality is showing up, it will keep persisting in your life. It's the truth of the matter, okay? So whatever preference you have that's causing you to resist the way things are, drop it. It's already shown up this way, okay? Now see why you had that preference in the first place. Now we're really working on true freedom, true growth, okay? Any questions? Curiosity and witnessing are forms of healthy detachment and going meta with the mind. Yeah, so being curious is huge. Getting yourself into the witness space where you're going, interesting, why am I reacting that way? Right? I kind of laugh at myself now, or I'll have a reaction and then literally the next moment I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from. Don't take it personally. That's me. I immediately can come back because I've been practicing this for like over a decade. And this is what you want. Witness yourself. Be curious about why you're this way. Be a detective. Be self-reflective. Become more self-aware without the judgments. You're not perfect. You're never going to be perfect. These patterns are in you. This is a huge practice to grow through them, right? You're here to grow through them. You're not going to do it perfect the first time. Yes, more is going to come. There's layers and layers and layers and layers built in, okay? You're calling it healthy detachment. I would say it's just becoming the witness, being in awareness. Yes, you have disidentification, I would say. Right? You're not becoming detached where like you're not feeling. You're still feeling. You're just disidentified from the feeling. You're realizing I'm not that feeling. I don't have to feel that way. I don't need to react. I can respond. That's the difference. I hope that makes sense. All right, I'm getting thumbs up. Cool. All right. Other questions, comments? I love this stuff. I love Nikki. Such good stuff. All right, question 3. He says, how do I let go of my preferences and opinions without denying my individuality? Who am I without my preferences and opinions? Right? Like, that's who I am. I thought that's who I was. It's a good question. He says, you don't have to deny your preferences or opinions, but you have to learn how to relate to them correctly. It's not that you won't have them. It's how do I relate to them correctly? And he gives some good examples here. So let's see. He says, there are many different aspects of your being. There's your body, there's your emotions, there's your thoughts, and then there's you, the consciousness that is aware of it all. You are the container through which all of these emotions and your body and everything is moving through. All right? The mistake is thinking that your preferences define you. They do not define you. You are not defined by these preferences or desires or thoughts even. Okay? They do not. They are simply conditioned responses based on your past experiences. Just like Pavlov's dogs salivate when the bell rings. Right? The bell rung, they got fed. The bell rung, they got fed. The bell rung, they're salivating because they believe they're going to get fed. Okay? We're conditioned into thinking that that's the truth. That's the way it should be. Okay? You had an experience. It got stored inside of you. And now that past impression is shaping how you react. Some of these things are very helpful for us to navigate life. Some of them are not helpful because your childhood, things happen that they shouldn't have, not that they shouldn't have happened that way, but they happened in a way that it got lodged in there, and it's like bad programming now. It's not serving you now. It served you then. It's not serving you now. The question is not whether you have preferences. The question is, what do you do with them? Once you realize you've got them, what do you do with them? Okay? He says, if a preference arises, again, don't suppress it and don't blindly follow it. Okay? Don't get pulled into it. Don't push it away. Simply notice it. Okay? If someone offers you 2 foods, one that always upsets your stomach and one that you love, of course you're going to have a preference. Well, I'm going to prefer the one that doesn't make my tummy hurt. Okay, that's fine. He says, but what if you're starving and someone offers you food that you're completely unfamiliar with? Are you going to sit there and have a preference and say, well, is it spicy, is it this, is that? No, if you're starving, you're going to drop your preferences. You're going to eat because you need to eat. Okay, he says that's the difference. You don't let preferences control you. You use your wisdom to make decisions in spite of the preferences, not because of the preferences. If a strong preference or opinion arises, sit back and observe. Watch the part of you that's going, I want this, I want this, I want this. Like the little kid having a temper tantrum about what it wants. Watch it. Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it. Okay? And maybe it's saying, I don't want that. They shouldn't have said that. I can't believe they said that. I don't want this. Blah, 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 blah. Watch the chatter, watch the chatter, watch the chatter, okay? See it for what it is, just a pattern playing out. If you cling to it, then it owns you. When you cling to it, now it owns you. Now you're identified with it. Now you're sucked into all of it. Now you're in the drama of life. Now your ego mind has won. You're no longer witnessing. He says, if you can see it for what it is, just a pattern playing out, if you fight it, it owns you. Instead, just let it pass through and allow life to unfold beyond the limits of your personal conditioning. Guess what? There is a bigger game being played than any of us consciously realize. All right? Imagine this. We are here on a planet spinning in the middle of nowhere that's part of a huge solar system. Like, what in the world do you think you know? You don't. I mean, you just don't. There's so much bigger, something so much bigger happening. So let go of the preference. Realize maybe things are unfolding for your growth, for your benefit, right? You're so limited in your thinking. Drop the limitations. Expand. Be open. He says when you stop letting preferences dictate your actions, you don't lose yourself. You're literally freeing yourself. Now you are free to meet life as it is, to show up in a moment and see the power and beauty of the moment. Not about how you wanted to be, should have been, could have been, whatever. You're fully seeing the situation for what it is. You're having a much deeper and richer experience of life. Making sense? Okay. Ajit, you're welcome. Question 4. Aren't there some preferences that are universal? For example, who wants to get a terminal illness? If something like that happens, how do we deal with it spiritually? This is a good question. Put a 1 in the chat if you know somebody that's been diagnosed with a terminal illness. Maybe they've already passed, right? Someone that's been diagnosed with terminal illness, maybe you're watching them struggle through it right now, work with it right now. Maybe you've seen them in the past. They got the diagnosis and you watch them handle it. Okay, I'm seeing lots of 1s. Yes. So isn't the preference not to have the terminal illness? I think we all probably would agree I would prefer not to have a terminal illness. I would prefer to be able to live as long as I can for as healthy as I can. That is the preference. Amen. We all want that. So let's see. He says, if you have a terminal illness, it has nothing to do with preference. It's not easy to accept, but you need to come to terms with the fact that the body is ill and is going to pass away fairly soon. If you resist it, you're resisting and it's already here. Resisting it doesn't mean the illness is going to go away. The illness is already here. That's what he's saying. He's saying, I know you didn't prefer it. I know you didn't ask for it. I know you don't want it, but it's here. And if you're resisting it internally, you're going to cause more internal stress. He says, either you do not accept the fact, which will cause more psychological suffering on top of your physical issues, or you do your best to let go of the inner resistance and work to find peace in your final days. That is using the situation for your spiritual growth. How can I use this situation? Well, I can drop my preference to not have it. This is a 500-pound weight. I mean, this is a big weight to be asked to lift. If you haven't been practicing this with the little stuff, it's going to be very hard to lift this weight. But also sometimes it's the most difficult things that open up the biggest, allow you to have the biggest awakenings. So don't shy away from it. It's here because you're ready for it. Your higher self believes you're ready for it. This is the next big lesson. And it's not about mastering anything in this physical world. It's a spiritual internal lesson about, can I internally look at this and drop my resistance to it and just accept that this is here and this is coming. And so what do I want to do with my final days while I'm aware? Do I want to be stressed out and anxious and depressed, or do I want something else? You know, I remember watching, there's a woman, her name is Jessie Lee Ward. She's my age. She's diagnosed with stage 4 terminal colon cancer. And I watched her, obviously when she got the diagnosis, she screamed about it, had a breakdown about it. Like, I don't want this. I can't believe it shouldn't be, not me. I don't deserve this, right? All the things. And then she said, I'm going to do my best to accept that this is here and do everything within my power to overcome it and live life to the fullest while I'm doing that. That's what she did. She dropped everything in her life that wasn't serving her, that wasn't bringing her joy. She brought in more that was bringing her joy. She tried everything that could possibly help. And at the end of the day, she still died. But she could have allowed that diagnosis for her last, however many months it was, I think it was around 6 months, She could have allowed that diagnosis to torment her in her mind, to just be depressed and anxious and upset and angry. And so that would have been her last 6 months. But no, she lived to the fullest, and she became an amazing example for so many people because she documented it on social media for so many people about how to accept what's present and work within the limitations of that. That's what's possible. And it doesn't mean that you're going to overcome it. It doesn't mean that. She thought it did, but it didn't. She still passed. And that's okay. I agree, Michelle, she was an amazing person. He says, on the other hand, if you do not have a terminal illness, but your mind is causing suffering because of the possibility that you might get one, this is where your preference is causing unnecessary suffering, right? If you've got the terminal illness, it's already here. That's a whole nother layer of work. But if you are running around this life worried about getting a terminal illness, holy moly, that preference is causing a lot of internal suffering, right? None of us want it. Stop focusing on it. You're probably going to attract it in if you focus on it. He says, in this situation, look inside and see why, and see why you would do such a destructive thing. Literally, you're being destructive, self-destructive. He says, nothing is wrong, but since you don't want it to be wrong later, you suffer now. You're literally causing suffering now. In other words, life is not doing this to you, you are doing this to yourself. You need to look deeper and see why your mind would do such a thing. Be curious, don't judge yourself. Don't add another layer of problems. Just be curious, like, why would I bring this up? Why would I allow myself? Maybe you're scared of something else, and so you're allowing yourself to fixate on some fear like a terminal illness when really there's something else internally that you're avoiding addressing. And it feels easier to fixate on that than to deal with that thing. I don't know, I'm just guessing. All right. What you will see is that you are blocked due to past experiences that have been held inside. These blockages are preventing your natural energy flow and leaving you weak and worried about your future. If you remove these underlying blockages, you will be filled with energy and strength and experience great love and inspiration. That's what we all want. Who wants to be filled with love and strength and inspiration? I think all of us. When this is your inner state, there are no desires or fears. You are too filled with deep contentment no matter what is happening. You know that you can handle whatever happens, so why worry about it? You will get to a place when you are so secure inside that you realize no matter what comes my way, I'll be fine. I'll be absolutely fine. What was said here? Undesirable weather is low-hanging fruit. That's a good practice. Agreed. Yeah. It's raining outside. I don't want it to be raining. I'm going to resist the rain. That's ridiculous. It's raining. Accept it. Move forward. Right? The rain, the weather outside is an easy way to practice. That's a 2-pound weight. So start working on that one. All right? He says, learn to embrace life and participate in her events with acceptance, with passion, and the love of getting to experience your years on this planet. Please don't ruin your life because it doesn't match your preference system. So I'm going to stop there because we got a couple minutes left. And I want you to think about your preferences. I want you to think about where this is showing up in your life, right? Just over the weekend. What was a preference that you had that it didn't go your way? And did you ruin the moment? Did you cause more stress internally? Did you make a conflict with people that you actually love and care about? Friends, family, whatever it is. Because you had a preference of how things should be. Look at that. Don't judge yourself. There's no judging, right? It's just going, oh, there was another option. Sometimes we don't realize. Again, the preferences are so strong. That internal dialogue is so loud. We think there is no other choice. It should be this way, ought to be this way. I'm totally justified in feeling this way. No, there is always another choice. To pause, to do nothing, to get yourself internally grounded and settled, and then decide how to interact and react. That's the truth of the matter. All right? So we will keep up with this. We'll dive into more of Chapter 6 next week. I love you guys. I hope this is good food for thought for you to bring into the week, and just observe your preferences this week. Don't change them. Don't judge yourself for them. Just observe them and see when they come if you can make some space. Disidentify a little bit. All right? Have a great week, guys.